I'm Murray Newlands from Open Future Forum.
How do you pass context between AI agents safely? By passing as little as possible. The headline rule is least context. Give the receiving agent only what it needs for its task. Strip the secrets before they ever enter the window. Label where each piece came from and how sensitive it is. Keep a provenance trail and log every access. The moment agents start handing information to each other, context becomes the place where private data leaks and where hidden instructions execute, so you build controls around the handoff itself. I'm Murray Newlands, partner at IA Seed Ventures and founder of Open Future Forum, which runs small off-the-record dinners for CFOs, CROs, CISOs, and CTOs in Silicon Valley. 100 events to date. Multi-agent systems are becoming the default. Agents collaborate, delegate, and pass rich state to each other, retrieving documents, intermediate summaries, tool results. If that context is not controlled, you will eventually leak data or run instructions you never wrote. Let me show you the failure modes because they are not obvious, and then the controls, which all come back to passing less. In a single agent system, you worry about direct prompt injection. A user or a document slips an instruction into the input. Multi-agent systems introduce something worse, what researchers call prompt infection, where a malicious instruction spreads across your agents like a virus. Say you use retrieval over a document store and an attacker poisons one document. A retrieval agent pulls it. A planning agent reads the hidden instruction as a trusted system command. A tool-wielding agent executes the harmful action. Because the agent that fetched the document is not the one that acted on it, no single agent ever sees the whole chain. Attribution is hard and detection is harder. Each agent did its job correctly. The harm lives in the seam between them, which is precisely where nobody is looking. That fragmented visibility enables stealth data exfiltration through what are called compositional attacks. Imagine one agent summarizing sensitive payroll data. A hidden instruction inside a retrieved file tells that agent to format its summary in a very particular way. The summary passes to a second agent with web access, which embeds the sensitive data into an outgoing link. Each agent only sees its local task, so both steps look compliant, and your overall security policy has been bypassed without any single agent breaking a rule. This is the part that unsettles security leaders. There is no single log line that says a breach happened. The breach is distributed across several innocent-looking steps. So how do you pass context safely? The principle is that context is never neutral. Every piece carries an access question and a trust question. Who is allowed to see this, and do I trust where it came from? 5 controls put least context into practice. 1. Redaction before the model sees anything. Drop sensitive fields, credentials, and raw logs before they ever enter the context window. If the secret never enters the context, it cannot leak through the context. Redaction has to happen on the way in, not on the way out, because once the data is in the window, the model can copy it anywhere. 2. Least context enforced. Give each agent only the minimum it needs for its task. Strip irrelevant history and unused tool outputs. Every extra document you stuff in is one more place an injected instruction can hide, and one more secret that can leak. Small context windows are safer windows, and they are cheaper and more accurate too, which we cover in the cost briefing. 3. Source and sensitivity labels that separate trusted instructions from untrusted data. Tag every piece of context with where it came from and how sensitive it is, and wrap retrieved content in fences that tell the model to treat it strictly as data, not as commands. That neutralizes the classic hidden directive that says ignore your previous instructions. The model still reads the text, but it reads it as something to analyze rather than something to obey. 4. Provenance on every handoff. In a pipeline, a piece of data may be summarized and re-embedded several times. Provenance is a machine-readable trail that tells the next agent exactly where this context came from and how it was transformed, so trust does not get laundered along the way. Without provenance, a poisoned document and a verified internal fact look identical by the third hop. 5. Route agent-to-agent communication through a context firewall. Like a network firewall, it is an auditable choke point. Before a message moves from one agent to the next, it strips disallowed fields, downranks untrusted content, enforces least context, attaches provenance, and logs the access. One place every handoff has to pass through, and one place you can inspect when something looks wrong. Walk the payroll attack back through those controls and watch it fail. Redaction strips the sensitive fields before the summarizing agent ever sees them, so there is nothing valuable to smuggle. Least context means the second agent never receives the payroll summary at all, because its task did not require it. Source labels mean the hidden formatting instruction is read as untrusted data, not obeyed as a command. Provenance means the second agent can see that this content came from an untrusted, retrieved file and treat it accordingly. And the context firewall means the whole handoff passed through one inspectable, logged point where the disallowed move could be caught. Any one of these breaks the chain. Together, they make the attack not just detectable, but uninteresting to attempt, which is the real goal. You do not want to win the incident. You want the attack to have no path worth taking. Underneath all five sit the pillars we keep returning to. Permissions through delegated identity. An agent should act on behalf of a specific user and see only what that user is allowed to see, so it cannot pass along context that person could never access. Visibility, so every handoff and access is logged and a suspected leak can be traced and proven. And credentials held outside the agent, so passing context never means passing a secret. This connects directly to the layer I advise on at Agentic Fabric, the identity and permissioning layer for AI agents, the Okta for agents model. Delegated user identity is built in, so an agent is bounded by the permissions of the user it acts for, which bounds the context and data it can reach. Every action and access is logged, so context exposure is traceable. Credentials sit outside the agent. They tell me over 500 agents operate under that model today, and they support the major agent frameworks, so this works across however your agents are built. The executive takeaway is to stop thinking of context as plumbing and start thinking of it as a control surface. Whoever controls the context controls the agent. Every handoff is a permission decision and a trust decision whether or not anyone designed it that way. Make those decisions explicit with least context, redaction, source labels, provenance, and a firewall on the path between agents. Until you do, agent-to-agent communication is not safe to run at scale. You pass context between agents safely by passing the least you can. Redact before the model sees it. Give each agent only what its task needs. Label source and sensitivity so untrusted data is not read as instructions. Attach provenance to every handoff and route communication through a logged context firewall, all on top of delegated permissions, full visibility, and credentials the agent never holds. Open Future Forum is a private executive community in Silicon Valley that runs small, off-the-record dinners for C-suite executives. Over 400 events since 2021, bringing together senior executives, founders, and investors. If you want to be considered for an Open Future Forum dinner, find me on LinkedIn. If you want to sponsor one, the same applies. I'm Murray Newlands from Open Future Forum. See you in the next briefing.